So Al, did you end up thinking of anything?
I did.
Do you want to lead with a discussion question?
I forgot them again. I'll come up with something. I'll just try and interject at some point.
I'll start.
I just don't.
I'll start with my first one here.
Well, actually, you did mention you guys want to talk about Plunderstorm, and I did have Plunderstorm on my mind, and I did bring up Cata, but you want to talk about Cata as well. Have you tried the Cata server yet?
You talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have not. I've watched a good deal of it. I did have Willie, Crix, and Scotty J on my show just yesterday, and they have just been no lifing it. And I mean, Crix and Scotty J, I believe, have been playing private servers for the last 6 months too. Yeah. So they're just gung ho on it. And I don't know. I am super excited to level characters to 60. I know that sounds weird, but I never did it in the past. I leveled 280s to 85 and never did like the new Azeroth. So I'm actually excited.
You never did starting at level 1 in Cata.
Never. I did a little bit of the goblin starting zone, but then I was like, I'm just gonna make a goblin. I'm just gonna pay to change to a goblin.
That's
so
my
I just
least,
changed to goblin.
It's my least favorite starting zone.
Really?
Yeah,
that's because that's the weird platforms, right?
Yeah,
that was okay.
Yeah, I got lost. Yeah, because you fall off the track and it's like, oh shit.
You get lost on the way to your computer sometimes, though.
Point taken. So speaking of leveling, Sam, do you want to interject a question here?
Dan's been waiting to ask this one.
So when Cata starts, do you have to continue from where you left? Do you continue where you left off, or do you have to start by level 1?
You continue where you left off. Like,
Josh hates when I ask that question.
Sam's asked that every time we've started talking about Cata, and she's like, we got to ask it again.
Honestly, they should have done some sort of incentive to get people to do it, because literally, I'm pretty sure the majority of the population were like me and never went and checked it out. They might have done the starting areas. I know a lot of friends did the starting areas, but the whole Azeroth, I think, was a waste of time for them because of that. Like, it almost needed to be a hard reset.
Did they have faction change back then? Race change, I mean? Oh, okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember, because I was like, well, the incentive for me would be playing one of the new races. Yeah, but I know, like, I started several characters from level 1 in Cata.
I'm trying to think of when it was, but we were like maybe halfway through the first raid, like time wise, like not halfway through beating it, but time wise halfway through the raid. And Mel went to do, my wife, for anybody that doesn't know, went to do her master's, get that. And so she was not going to have any more time to play. So I took over her account, which is TOS, guys. We're married. What belongs to her belongs to me, belongs to me, belongs to her. So just heads up, it's okay.
TOS. Anyone that's going to report you doesn't listen to this podcast.
So I just turned her her human priest, or no, night elf, blood elf priest into a goblin male, and then just took over the healing jobs of our 10-man and sent my rogue to like a big fancy 25-man that I hated going to because everybody was elitist and there was no friends there. It was like, it basically killed WoW for me. Then Star Wars Old Republic came out and I just quit.
Yeah, those people are the worst. I try to avoid them.
So that would have been a race and faction change there.
Yep. It was both, but I don't know if it was available from day one. I just know that it was available at least a couple months into the expansion, because that's when I did it.
I would kind of hope then with the Cata Classic release that at the very least they don't let you change right away.
Yeah.
Because then that would incentivize at least some people to start from 1. Anyone that wants to play a goblin, or is it Worgen? Is Worgen the other one?
Worgen's the other one. I'm excited to try that too.
Yeah.
Now Worgen, I can't remember which faction's which.
Alliance.
Worgen's Alliance and Goblin's Horde?
Yep.
Oh, see, I always felt like it was counterintuitive which was which, but Goblin being Horde seems right to me. So maybe I was just confused about Worgen.
It kind of would have been cool if it was, honestly, I always felt like both those and bringing in the Blood Elves and the other ones, the Space Goats, I felt they all should have been swapped. I thought Blood Elves should have been Alliance, and I feel like Goblins should have been Alliance, but I don't know.
Goblins as Alliance would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have given you a
Because,
funny
like-
character on. Well, I guess you have gnomes. but
Well,
they're just
and I
scary.
also feel like to me the like Ratchet, Gadget, Zan. What are those? What's the rep on those? Oh, they have their individual rep,
Yeah.
but the Goblin rep that they always seemed like human settlements to me. Like they have a human feel to them more than a Horde feel. Like I know both can use them, but they always felt human to me. So I think it felt like Goblin should have been Alliance.
Yep. And then Worgen's a monster, so it felt like it should have been. Or I shouldn't say monster because hordes aren't. I'm getting more horde bias. Been playing too much Sod, right? But I kind of
Horde are
fall
just a
to
bunch of
whatever I'm
monsters.
playing. Yeah, so I'm really for the horde at the moment, and really anti-alliance because I want to kill every paladin I see.
Well, I mean that's what happens, right? It's whatever you're playing.
Yep.
Because I
it
know
really
when we were
is.
playing Alliance, we're like, oh man, I hate those hordes so much. Like Warcraft does a really good job of making players hate each other. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they do a good job of it.
Well, I mean, Al can attest to it. He almost wanted to throw me through a wall because I bitched and moaned about being horde so long when we started Sod. But then it just slowly creeps up on you, and all of a sudden I'm like,
You
I
identify as
feel,
horde
yeah,
now.
I identify as an undead dude with my bones showing, and I'm cool with it. I couldn't do the laugh, damn it. It's the first time I tried.
Yeah, no, that's the thing you got to rehearse.
I don't think I had a problem with you
can't do
joining
it.
Horde. I enjoy because I wanted to go Horde.
No, you had a problem with me constantly moaning and whining about being horde. You're like,
You've been
Bob,
always-
do you
you've
want
always
some
been a
cheese
horde
with that
defender.
wine?
Yeah.
You've always been a strong horde defender.
See, I don't remember that, but I do realize how old I am, and I kind of.
Oh, it was definitely warranted because I just whined about it constantly. It's like, Bob, can we talk about something fun, please, instead of you constantly bitching and moaning?
And I do have memories of before Sod, Al flooding your Twitch stream with For the Horde
Yep.
every time he popped onto there. So
I never did that.
never. There's no way that you did that during podcast recordings when he forgot to turn it off.
No, actually, I never interrupted his podcast recordings.
I thought you did once.
No,
I
he
messaged
often helped remind me.
Yeah, I reminded him to turn it off.
Someone must have, because I remember it happening at one point.
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't be that rude to his recordings.
wouldn't you, though?
I do have some class.
Some.
Some.
I mean,
You must save it for special occasions.